Sometimes people, I like being sold, to be honest, even though I can be a hard ass around certain things. Like, I love when someone sells me on something. I'm like, oh, he really worked for that. Because that means he's...
I'm the same
You're one
way.
of those guys. Like, I'm going to make him work for this.
But it means that they really took the time to understand my pain points.
Yeah.
Yes.
They took the time to understand what I was having an issue with, and they presented a solution that I bought into. So I'm like, well, damn, if they were able to get me to do it, then they deserve whatever comes out on the other end of the sale. So what's the favorite thing about AZ for y'all right now so far? Y'all been to AZ before?
I have.
Oh yeah.
I've been
we
there.
were talking about it on the way. Can y'all hear me okay?
I can hear you.
Yeah,
I can hear
favorite
you.
thing so far.
AZ's cool, man. I mean, the team, the partners here, it's just a vibe, man. So
It's a
excited
vibe.
to be a part of it. So excited.
Yeah. How about you, V?
So far,
Yeah.
weather's beautiful. The house is beautiful. You mean like today or just why I love Arizona, period?
Whatever you want to say.
Oh, today's just a great day.
Okay.
Great day in Arizona.
AZ.
Easy.
Well, that's the driest icebreaker.
I don't know.
Ice-breaking
but
responses
you
I've
gotta
gotten.
come with a better question.
Good
What's your
Lord.
favorite thing about? What's your
Man,
favorite
kicking
thing?
it with everybody.
Yeah.
This is the first time we've all come together without it being with a
Like client. True.
Yeah, because you can't really lock in, and everyone's always in your face. Oh, can you do this? Can you do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've talked about this for quite some time.
We have. Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of power that comes with being able to get together like this. So,
I agree.
but
This is where
anyway,
the magic happens.
it is where the magic happens. This is where we come up with the dope ideas. This is where we come up with the game plan for the next 6 months and beyond. So I think the more and more we can do this, I told Kelsey yesterday, I was like, yo, I would love to do this twice a year. She was like, oh, it's asking a lot. Like,
Twice.
Well, you don't have to
It
come.
sounds like a Kelsey response.
You don't have to come, but nah, it's been good. But anyway, welcome to another episode of the Heavy on Brand podcast. I got, as usual, two special guests. First one is Valentina Barton, who is our director of client experience. And she is pretty much, and I'll let you intro yourself as well, but she's pretty much the person that runs the show when it comes to like all the client engagements and work that needs to be done, making sure that we stay on task, making sure that the team is locked in and on the same page about all the different things that we need to deliver. So can't say enough about just how dope it's been to have, you on board and to be able to trust, what's getting done. So glad to have you on the show officially.
Hey. Hi, everybody.
What up?
No, I'm excited to be here. Excited to be a part of the CT family. We do a lot of work. When you say it like that, I was sitting over here like, wow,
Yeah, it's
we
been a lot.
do a lot. I don't know how it all gets done. Well, it gets done because we got dope people on the other side, but we got a good system going. We got a really good team. And thankfully, we work with good clients that kind of make our life a little easier by trusting us with doing the work.
Yeah, 100%. Next up, we have Vince Hill, the newest member of the CT squad.
Woo-hoo. Hey.
Yo, what's happening, everybody?
Just for the record, he is the director of partnerships now. So one of the things that's been really, really crucial for us as an agency that's growing is making sure we have the right people at the helm that's communicating the message around the partners that we're trying to bring in and develop. And so Vince and I have actually probably been talking about this for at least a year now.
Oh, yeah.
V knows how many times we've had this conversation around like, yo, we got to bring in somebody that can help with this, got to help with that. And specifically on the business development front and making sure that we're attracting the right type of partners to the team. But so thrilled to have you connected with everyone, man. I think your experience in sales over the past decade plus, 15 years plus, it's going
15
to be
strong.
a huge,
Wow.
yeah, it's going to be a huge asset to what we do. So welcome, man.
Yeah, thank you for having me, man. You know, I've been in the corporate ranks for some time, and just being in this environment, this vibe, for lack of better terms, man, it's refreshing. It's very refreshing. So,
Boy, got a killer smile, don't he?
it takes me a long way.
Get them dollars.
Oh man. Well, one of the things that we really want to unpack on this episode is just, look, we're a business. We got to make money. We serve clients, and we got to make sure we're bringing on the right type of clients. But what's really, really important for people to understand about how we go about getting clients and working with them is, you know, we've been fortunate. Up until this point, we have relied primarily on referrals, which is a testament to the team, to the work that we do. But now as we are starting to build out this sales engine or function that starts with ads, content, cold outreach, inbound management of leads that come in, you know, we got to make sure we evaluate the right type of clients that come in, but we also have to make sure that not only do they need to have the right mindset around what it is that we do, but they need to kind of fit a certain criteria and kind of be ready to grow in a way that makes sense for them and us, because we don't want to bring on 1,000 clients. I think I've always said that from the beginning. That's why our team is where it is right now. And when you look at the clients with who we partner with today, it's we get very, very involved on an intimate level and an intimate basis with them. So we have to make sure that not only do we trust our ability in being able to help them grow and scale, but we got to make sure we like working with them, because we work with these people for an extended period of time. We get to know their families. We travel with them. There's a lot that comes of these relationships where it's more than just a client agency type of dynamic. It's really, you know, I keep saying this, it really turns into a family. So when we think about partnerships, V, I'll start with you. Talk to us a little bit about kind of your perspective, because you and I have had a ton of conversations around this. Your perspective when it comes to working with a client, bringing them on board, and then making sure we can not only deliver, but we're still maintaining that personal touch and making sure that they understand this is a partnership and it kind of goes both ways. Like, you can get rid of us just as fast as we can get rid of you.
Yeah. I think for us, we're very selective on who we work with, right? Like, we say this all the time. You know, obviously it's the outreach, it's the need, it's the service-based combo to just start it off. But there's a vibe check, because we literally get under the weeds. We get in the trenches with the client, especially when we're doing, you know, branding, website, content production. We have to get to the root and the core of what it is that you want and get rid of all the fluff, because at the end of the day, we have to bring your vision to life. And if it's not clear, if it's just a bunch of just words or thoughts, it just makes our job harder, right? So for us, and that takes a lot of work. Like, it may be, if we're working with a client, we lock in a 12-month contract, we're literally meeting with this client once a week, every other week. So the time that's invested in our relationship that we're building is a lot. And if the energy isn't there, if the vibe check isn't there, if we don't enjoy doing the work, then for us, it just makes it just is not fun, right? And we didn't come this far or step out on faith to be working in environments where it's like, I just don't like the work, right? That's why a lot of people walk away from corporate. So I think for us, thankfully, Brian, I think you're a genius at being very selective on who you attract, right? And who you go after with clients. And when it's kicked off to the team, we really get to know the client, our lead person, the team. People are people. You're going to have weird, difficult, unique personalities, especially in this world of entrepreneurship, which I say is the wild, wild west. Like, you're going to come across that. But I think for me, being kind of like the translator or the in-between person is like, let's cut through all the clutter. Here's what needs to get done. Here's the objectives. Here's the goals. Here's the tactics. Let's get a flow going. Let me help you get out the way. Let's get to the work and let's get it done. And I think we do a good job of doing that by not getting caught up in any drama or any personal things. Like, business is business. we love to spend time with our clients. I think you almost have to. I think this is a people person business. If you don't have that FaceTime, if we can't look eye to eye or talk heart to heart, it just makes it a lot harder, because a lot of times we're bringing, high growth entrepreneurs, high growth agencies, high profile celebrities, athletes, et cetera. We're bringing their dream to life, which it's very much their baby, their passion, their life's work. And that's personal. No matter what it is, it's personal. So they have to trust us in doing it. And so I think you just, it's a vibe check. Either you got it or you don't. Either you got the right people around you or you don't. Either we can get to it. We can go have drinks and kick it and talk, but can we open our laptops and get this work done on time? It's business at the end of the day. When people say business isn't personal, but it is very much personal. And you got to just know how to navigate that.
Yeah. How many times, I don't know if y'all have been around for this, but maybe more, maybe Justin, but for sure, I can remember a few times where we were about to work with a particular client or group or whatever it may be. And for whatever reason, like the first conversation or second conversation, if it's a series of them, I usually give you a pass. But if like the second or third conversation, it still feels a bit contentious for whatever reason, and the vibe is off. And because one thing we do every week is I'll come to the table and I'll say, hey, we have this in the pipeline. We have that in the pipeline. Here's who the main point of contact is. This is what they need done. Here's a team that I think can get it done. And on this one, I was giving an update and I was like, I don't know, team. This is the reaction that I'm feeling from it, or this is the vibe that I'm getting from it, and it wasn't a good one. And so I went around the team, around the line. I was like, all right, V, what's your estimation of it? Such and such. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? And if everyone is like, B, if you ain't feeling it, then 9 times out of 10, we ain't gonna feel it. We out. We good.
Yeah.
And I'll just stop the conversation with a client. With the prospect, I'll let them know. Yeah. Like, hey, we don't think this would be a good fit. We don't really think we can help you the right way. But it's much more important for me to save the sanity of the team than just bringing on whatever to make a buck. And we've had situations where that was done, and it ended up, I ain't gonna say it bit us in the ass, but we've had a few where it was just like,
we knew it going into it.
Yeah, this was gonna happen. So yeah, it's important for me to make sure that stays consistent.
Which is great, because some people out here, they don't have any boundaries, no values. It's just like, I just need to get to the bag. I don't care who I'm working with. It's a dollar, it's the check, run it. And that's exhausting. Being an entrepreneur, being a freelancer, being a contractor is exhausting in itself, because you literally have to get up every day and have a grind about yourself to like do what it is that you say you're going to do, on top of all the other things with just, balancing your finances, all the things that it comes with deciding to take the road that we're taking. So if the relationship is off, if the energy is off, why am I doing this to myself? And sometimes you don't start out like that. Sometimes you got to just do what you got to do to pay the bills and build your book of business. But when you get 1 or 2 or 3 clients under your belt, you do get the opportunity to be a little bit more selective, and you have to protect your team in doing that. And I think you do a great job in that.
Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Vince, one thing that was really, I guess, promising for me was when you and I were starting to have conversations around what it looked like for you to come and partner with CT. One of the first things you told me, or one of the first things you said, and I was more so asking you about just kind of what your current sales process was and how you go about having conversations with potential partners, potential clients, and what that process looked like for you to bring them on. And you always started with, well, man, how can I help you? Right. And so that resonated with me in a way that was exciting, because I feel like we take the same approach, and I felt like there was inherently some synergy that was there. So tell us a little bit about just kind of your theory around that. Because I know you're a big person that is all about listening, all about trying to uncover ways to solve a problem for someone. And I think moving forward and moving with that kind of energy just actually makes you a much better closer when it comes to bringing on new business than people actually give themselves credit for. So tell us a little bit about kind of where that comes from and how you've been able to just build and grow a career around that.
Yeah. You know, like V said earlier, I was one of those guys, every door, every floor. I'm knocking on every door. I'm getting all the business. I don't care. Sign here, please.
Yeah.
But it will beat you down.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to readdress my strategy. And it started with me reading a book called Go Giver. And it really talked to the fact that when you're looking to help people get where they need to go, you will in turn get where you need to go. And I've always kind of had that mentality when I walk in and speak to a prospect or a client, like, how can I help you?
Mm-hmm.
And if I can't help you, I'm going to be honest about that. And I'm going to put you in a direction or give you the resources that can get you where you need to go.
Mm-hmm.
Because ultimately, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
People helping people accomplish their goals and do it in a way that we can all have fun and laugh and have jokes 10 years from now about it. Like, you remember when that happened? Yeah, it was great, wasn't it? I don't remember that, but yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
You know,
100%.
because we always get caught in the weeds with all types of BS. And, but that's really the goal for me, is just helping someone get where they need to go.
And I appreciate that, man. I think clients see that. I mean, everyone knows when they're being sold, right? Like, each of us can open up our phones and come across 5 ads in 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we know when we're being sold, but if you act like you just care, then that'll get you, whether you really, it'll get you so far.
Yeah.
It'll get you really a long way.
Big time.
And sometimes people, you know, I like being sold, to be honest, even though I can be a hard ass around certain things. Like, I love when someone sells me on something. I'm like, oh, he really worked for that, because that means he's.
I'm the same
You're one
way.
of those guys. Like, I'm going to make him work for this.
But it means that they really took the time to understand my pain points.
Yeah.
Yes.
They took the time to understand what I was having an issue with, and they presented a solution that I bought into. So I'm like, well, damn, if they were able to get me to do it, then they deserve whatever comes out on the other end of the sale. So I love hearing that, because it's really who we are as people, quite honestly. Like, we're being funny about it, but I think even with how I look at how even CT was formed and the partners that we have around the table, I can look at Morgan, I can look at Justin, I can talk to you, Kelsey. We have all had conversations that I remember vividly, each of you saying to me in some form or fashion, yo, what do you need me to do? And I'm like, it's so rare that you get that from people who are operating in the same space. But it resonates in a way that makes you want to do more for y'all, right? Because you're like, all right, well, I'm giving up myself to do this thing for B. And I'm like, well, shit, I got to get my act together for Vince, for Morgan, for V, for Justin, for Kelsey, for Dan, everyone, right? And I think that's just a huge part of what I think, of where I feel like how we show up. And sometimes even when it's not said, people feel that from us.
100%.
People feel that from us. So one thing that you mentioned, I think Justin has, I don't know, a running list of quotes, but there was something that you told me in, what was it, Chicago? About the mountain. And it reminded me of the quote that you just said, but I can't remember what it was.
I helped someone climb to the top of the mountain, and found myself, and while I was helping him get there, I found myself at the top of the mountain.
Facts.
No, that's true.
That's exactly how it happens.
Yeah, I mean, it's a relationship business. And I think the one thing about entrepreneurship and running your own thing is it's you. Like, I think this is something that's it's not a new concept, but I think as I evolve as an entrepreneur, as an agency owner, as a team leader, it's like the way, when I develop personally, I'm developing professionally. When I develop professionally, I'm developing personally. And so it's like a balancing act. And when we're helping our clients, like, because we do work with social impact clients and we're doing these really dope events and things, like, you find yourself in these moments like, wow, first off, I really am helping someone create their legacy.
Yeah.
Right? Like, our handprint, our thumbprint is on this, and this stuff will live on forever. If we're at events and people make connections and just have those like breakthrough moments, like, that was us that created that. Or some of our clients get, multi-million-dollar investments or funding into their business that changes the game, the dynamic for themselves and entrepreneurs. And we were a part of that because we shot that content, we did that photo shoot, we built that story to that locked in that, you know, life-changing investment. And that was us solving problems or us, you know, helping someone get to the top. So I think that's the part where you go to sleep at night. Like, I really am doing some dope work. This is hard. It's taxing. But at the end of the day, this is building my legacy and someone else's legacy too.
1,000%. One of the things that I think can't be taught, and I feel like both of you do this extremely well, really everyone on the team. I mean, y'all some rock stars. But it's the idea of being proactive with our problem solving.
Yeah.
Right? I know you and I have talked about this, right? And you're really good at this, where it's, we may be working with a client for an extended period of time, or it may even just be a couple of weeks, but having the foresight to know that if they don't do these 3 or 4 things over the next month, then it's going to be an issue in month 2, right? Talk to us a little bit, and I'll start with you, Vince, not to put you on the spot, but tell me a little bit around your thinking when it comes to just being proactive with getting in front of like issues that at times the client may not even recognize they have.
That's a great question. First, it starts with listening and taking notes. I get very annoyed when someone's talking with me or attempting to sell me or whatever the case might be, and they're not taking notes. Because you have to have something to review, because I can't go in my mind, you know, I'm not Rain Man. I can't go in my head and say, oh yeah, I remember that conversation. No, but the notes are really what pulls it out. And after your meeting, organizing those notes and reviewing it for your next call. And highlighting some points that you're like, did you think about this? Because I did. Because I care. Being proactive in the communication, right? Telling them next steps. Hey, this is what you can expect. This is what we expect from you. And the more you do that and the more you get comfortable outlining it to the prospect and the client, the easier that communication, the better that relationship will be long term.
Yeah, I notice every time we hop on a call, dude, you're like taking a ton of notes.
Yeah, he with it.
Man,
I'm like, let me get my notepad out.
and it'll be like the next day. He is like, without fail, the first 5 minutes, all right, B, I got questions for you. And he's going through his, I think both of y'all have the same notepad. The one that erases.
Remarkable.
Oh, the Remarkable is remarkable.
It's remarkable. Remarkable. Must have.
Right.
No, legit, it's a game changer. I've been telling you about that for the past 3 years.
You have.
But you just stick with your little notepad and pencil.
Yeah, or I just operate out of my phone.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
He operates off of one screen
stuff
too.
like that. Say what now?
I said, I don't know how you operate off of one screen.
Yeah, you don't have
That is
double screens. You're
crazy to me.
crazy.
No.
And he uses a mouse.
A mouse. No, he doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't use a mouse.
No, I do use a
You
mouse.
use a mouse?
I use a mouse. I have
Okay.
to. I think you're a
Okay.
psycho if you don't use one.
Everybody raise your hand if you use a mouse.
I use a mouse. I use one screen. You set up with a command center, and I know you definitely got a
My
command
command
center.
center is in my
command
book bag right now.
Yeah, she got
ready.
like 4 screens that'll pop out. I'm like, yo,
Hey.
are you landing planes right now?
That
What are
work
you-
getting done though.
You right. You right. Like, what are you doing? But no, I've noticed that like it doesn't matter what we're talking about, how long or short the call is. You're taking notes.
Yeah.
V does the same thing. We hop on our one-on-ones, team meetings. Like she's taking notes, and she'd be like, remember you said boom, 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 boom 2 weeks ago at 2:33 p.m. And I'm like, no.
He puts the time down too. I love it.
Yeah,
I love
and
it.
Yeah.
here you go, bruh.
Here you go.
Right?
I'll slide it to you, no problem.
Cool. But to continue on with that around like just being proactive, how does that show up in your space and how you work with us and the clients that we do stuff with?
I'll never forget, we went to a mastermind like a week after I walked away from corporate, and we did.
Was it that one that was?
Yeah. So we did a mastermind, but I had just fresh out of corporate, and so the dope part was you got in the hot seat. And you had like 5 minutes to talk about your business, your problems, whatever. And 2 things stuck out that actually started my career. And the first thing was someone said to me, you're selling trust. at the end of the day. And if you build your business off of that concept, you'll understand like how to just get to the nitty gritty of the messaging. You're selling trust, right? And so what we're doing is we're selling trust. No matter how you try to break it down into services and packages and all the cool proposals, people are looking to us to make this thing happen. They're trusting us with the retainer, the business, the thing. So that was one. And then two, we're also helping people solve problems that they don't even know need to be solved. So basically, to your point, is like when we're listening to them tell us their problems or whatever the case is, we're hearing what they don't even realize are the gaps. And we're going to solve the the obvious problem. But I think where we come in and why CT has been so successful and all of the agency partners is we over deliver by also filling in those gaps that they don't even realize are there as we build this one thing. And I think that's where the value add keeps going. That's why you have referrals or long-term clients you've been working with for 3 years, because you might have come on to execute this podcast, but in executing the podcast, you built 15 pieces of content that they could kick out to sponsors. You help them build this new brand that opened up this new pipeline of revenue, whatever the case is. So I think, going back to the original question is you just double down on those things. And I think it's just built in strategy, right? And we just lucked out by having a team of strategists who like to do complex work. And when you're building a relationship with the client, just like a personal relationship, you really lock in with that person, that team, and you're committed to whatever our goal is, right? And we build on that. So I think that's like our secret sauce. And we've been blessed to find people who all vibe in the same area of like, we're going to solve this problem and move as one. So
I love that you said the thing about trust, because I've had conversations with you, Vince. Justin, you and I were talking about it last week in Chicago, I believe, but I think it's to your point, it is a secret sauce or kind of a core MO for CT, and it's, you are selling trust, right? And then when you think about the traditional way of marketing, right, is no longer a linear process, right? It's no longer you put out an ad, it comes through a funnel, then there's an email, or you fill out a piece of information, then there's an email follow-up or whatever it may be. People are going out and they're checking to make sure that you're showing up in the right way, especially if they know nothing about you. Now, if you come by way of referral, that's different, right? Yeah. But if you think you're a brand that can go out there and you don't have any testimonials, you don't have any client wins, you're not like, people aren't talking about your brand, you're not putting out any content. Like, think about the last time you bought something, or the last time you bought something. I was telling him I bought something, a pair of tights that helped reinforce my knees, right? I got, knees, right? But the very first time I came across it was an ad. Yeah. But I went and looked at like 12 YouTube videos. I read all kind of reviews. Yeah. I looked at, testimonials. I looked at product demos. I did all the stuff. Yeah. But just imagine had none of that information been available. Yep. I never would have made that purchase. Yep. And again, I told y'all at the beginning, I don't mind being sold, but that is the new way of like selling. If you're a company, is that you got to show up in these different moments that continues to reinforce that trust that 100%. that customers need to have into your brand.
100%.
The funny thing is, you told me about those tights. I bought some myself.
See, that's how it works.
You also have to look at it that way.
Yo, dog, these tights though. That's funny.
Man, I saw the reviews, man. I saw the videos. Yeah. I said, oh, really? He's like, yeah, man, these are going to be the knees bees. I'm like, oh, okay, got it, punk. But when you're thinking about your product or your services, people are talking about you. Yeah. Good, bad, indifferent. But having it there for them to talk about is very important.
100%.
100%, man, 100%. And I think we'll continue to dig more into that and really like unpack that process with how we help clients establish that trust, because it is a process, and we have a process that we really fully have baked out, and we'll start to share more information around that. But until then, I want to say thank you to you both, not only for being on this episode of the Heavy on Brand podcast, but I just appreciate y'all for being y'all and for showing up the way that you continue to show up. It doesn't go unnoticed. I can't tell you how many times and I'm saying this to you all and everyone else in the room, I continuously get complimented on the team. And it's not just, oh, Team CT. There are plenty of times it's Justin. I love Justin's energy. I love how V has everything in order. I love the way Morgan works. I love how Kelsey thinks. Literally, like, this is stuff that people come up and they'll share that bit of feedback with me, and it feels like they're saying it about me, and it's not. But that goes a long way, and I just want to thank y'all. Really.
Right back at you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining us on today's episode of the Heavy on Brand podcast. If you want to keep up and stay connected to the movement, follow us on IG at The Carbon Thread, and our website is thecarbonthread.com. I almost messed it up again, but it's all good. But yeah, until next time, man, y'all take it easy. We'll see y'all soon. If you enjoyed this episode of the Heavy on Brand podcast, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification button. And if you need more information on all things marketing and branding, check us out at thecarbonthread.com. Until next time, stay heavy.